Welcome back to our evening tea. I'm Aaron, this is Anila, and tonight we will be talking about if heroes have to be perfect. Take it away.
What do you think?
What do I think? You're gonna put it on me to start?
I can start. I don't think heroes have to be perfect. I mean, everyone is a hero of their own life, but you should have good intentions.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
I think that's really prerequisite to being a hero and not a villain.
Yeah, and even people who have done bad stuff can always learn and change. So yeah, just like having that in you to actually change and not just like resent everything in your life and like just take off in like a revenge mode is not like, yeah. I feel like some people who are bad bad in the sense where they're like literally hurting other people for no reason are probably villains.
Yeah, that's villainous.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But like, I don't know if like if they deserve a chance out of it.
Deserve a chance to be a hero, or deserve a chance?
I feel like if deserve a chance to live live or whatever, like I feel so what I feel is as long as you realize that you did something bad and you're hurting someone, like you're causing great pain to someone, can be a factor which can give you a benefit of doubt and a second chance.
Yeah. You definitely, I mean, I don't know if there's anything besides self-realization that can make someone realize that they are doing something actually wrong, bad. I think it's self-realization for sure. And I guess that can start the pathway to heroism. Yeah, I mean, I guess the opposite is, can a hero go bad?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because we're all just people. It's
yeah. So I feel like, so some people can't really see other people's struggle, no matter what. Some people were able to, like, were the ones actually struggling. Also, like, try really hard to make it and then forget their struggle to get there, or feel the need to stay there no matter what because nobody cared when they were struggling, so they stop caring about other people. But yeah, definitely it's like a two-way thing. Good people can turn bad, bad people can turn good.
Yeah.
And nobody it's like you always say, it's like a bad way of saying good people and bad people. It's just people
if they're
doing
good or doing bad. Yeah.
and you don't really know what they have gone through.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Or what they're, I mean, we're all capable of good things and greatness, but you don't know where they're going either. You don't know what they've been through, and you don't know where they're going. Only they really know that. I think it comes back to the first thing you said about intentions. It's about their intentions, and it's probably impossible to read intentions. I feel like there's been a lot of attempts and research into reading intentions and lie detecting and stuff like that, but I don't think there's really a full way to get the whole grasp unless you are that person.
That's why I really believe in karma. I feel like I've always had bad stuff happen to me when I am doing things just out of spite.
Yeah.
And it brings me back to reality and realize that I was doing bad, and I think about it a lot, but next time something like that happens, I do it again. Even though my intentions are not. So I feel that I'm doing wrong. I realize it, and I what do you say? Like I try to correct myself. Like I do a lot of thinking about it, but when you are in a situation, I guess it's instinctual.
Yeah.
You just end up
It's a long process.
You have to keep reminding yourself.
Habitual, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, because you can remind yourself as many times as you want, but when the time comes, it's, we're not gonna check our notes real quick before acting out. You do what you're used to. Yeah, but I feel like if you remind yourself over and over, it becomes a habit eventually.
It definitely does. I know some people are like I do a lot of work and now I feel like I've improved in a lot of things. Like I don't really feel resentful for anyone like I used to when I was a kid, and I feel a little bit of jealousy, but I remind myself I shouldn't. It's like everyone has their own time to shine. But yeah, it's a lot of work to actually remind yourself and be a better person. I don't think it comes naturally to everyone.
I don't think it comes natural to anyone.
Yeah, it's cool if it comes naturally to you, but I feel like most people have to work a lot to be a better person.
I think it comes if you're taught from an early age, and if your community, really starting with your family, your close family, the people that you're around all the time, and the community that they're around, and then the greater community and the society in general. If you have that support system that is building that habit for you from a young age, it's easier to have good habits, really, to start from a good place. So it's more natural. By the time you become an adult, you're already into that habit of doing good things, or trying to do good things, at least having good intentions. There's two other versions. There's the good support system, then there's a bad support system. Like if you have for lack of a better term, evil family and community, and then you're going to be having to fight that your whole life. That's a terrible start that you have to overcome. And then there's in the middle, which is like no one ever talks about good intentions or like doing good things. Then you have to build it yourself, but you have to combat.
I feel like I grew up in a society like that where it's like you really over make it like it's like, you know how gossiping and stuff, and you're constantly talking about different people and how well they're doing and how good natured they are just based on how they respect old people even if they're wrong, and how good they're in school. Like sometimes in the society I grew up, it really didn't matter if you are like super mean person as long as you did really good in school. When I was in school, like that's like a standard of someone who is great or whatever.
A good person is a successful
at least that's what I feel like kids take away from it because of the way adults talk, of the way how they emphasize or make it seem like a big deal when kids are doing good in school, when in reality it's not the only thing that matters. Like it's really important to be understanding what is good and what is bad than always being like a lack of a better word, doormat kind of thing. Like I feel like they really appreciate kids who listen more than kids who know what's happening and are rebellious because they don't really want that to happen that way. Like I was I don't know if I was ever considered the, what do you call, the role model child or anything. Like
based on the doormat standard
and based on doing good in school standard. I did pretty good in school, but it was like really moody. I was really moody. I would work hard and then realize what am I kind of burn out, and then I totally like take 180 and I almost like fail in exams. So I'm like really inconsistent with school. So I wasn't a role model kind of person in school. Neither was I considered role model kind of person at home, but I was really like happy and like showing a lot of energy, and I feel like people, I do not know why either. Like I've heard people criticize me for being happy all the time, and it did not affect me because I did not really understand why that is a bad thing or whatever.
So at least you didn't internalize it then.
Yeah.
But you probably at some point internalized it a little.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't, so I've always thought a lot, thinking about many things, all the time. Like, I guess I've always had this idea, if you work hard, you get good grades. If you work hard, you can, I don't know, it's just like really not great view I had as a child. And like the way people talk, so talking about other kids, like how they are like the perfect child or whatever, really made, I think that's what made the jealousy part grow a lot when I was a kid. Although I did not care for anyone to like me, it's just like always hearing about other people. It's just like
it's something you have to fight.
Yeah.
As a kid.
I literally rebelled for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've I don't know. I don't want to talk about it so much.
Yeah. That in terms of the having a start towards heroism.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like, okay, so me, I was on, I'd say, like I was always preached the merits of being good, from a very young age, like from as soon as I can remember. I remember my mom always told me at least that like to what you give is what you get, and like she had a lot of things that she would teach about like rules of the universe that like boil down to you get what you give, so like karma.
Mm-hmm.
And then I never had anyone, I wasn't part of a greater community. Like it was pretty much just us.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like in the US, it's society is such that like there's no real infiltration from the outside except for school.
Mm-hmm.
But like the nuclear family is the most important in molding the young mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a greater family or a greater community, and maybe like media is the other thing. So
Mm-hmm.
your peers that you meet throughout school and the media, and it really comes down to what the nuclear family teaches. And we were always taught what I consider good lessons, and I think that's what made it really easy for me to like step into that role of, well, I'm going to be a hero, and that's what I want to do. Like I from the time I became aware and conscious as an adult, I was like, I'm going to do as good as I can for the world.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you actually are naturally a good person.
What I'm saying is I don't think it's natural. I think it's based on the learning.
Okay.
Like, because we all have it in us, and
Yeah.
same thing, we're all made of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's what we're surrounded by from a young age.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one thing that I feel I am naturally good at is standing for the underrepresented.
Yeah.
I just feel like all the things I like are usually something which is not like super popular.
Yeah. I remember you've told me stories of like rooting for a sports team because they had a worse record, or like they weren't.
I really hate when hate is a strong word, but I really do not like when people criticize a public person for whatever reason. I feel like it's just like so much to deal with, and
they can't get everything right.
Yeah.
And then
and
then the criticism hits like one point really hard, as if that's their whole being.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I also like people if they're nice people. I do not really like people based on their popularity or skills or anything. although that helps, it's mostly how I feel about them. And sometimes, if they're getting too much hate, that makes me want to like them and support, and say, like, show that that's not all it is. Yeah, but that's the only thing, and that also kind of makes me a rebel child.
I think that cuts to the point that we all have the capability to be good, and we're all technically at heart the same thing, which is potentially good, potentially bad. So like, for them to be hated in the public eye will make some, I mean, unless they're like,
I feel like I
doing
relate
bad.
to them
Hmm.
because I do not want to support someone who is like always talked about in a good way. I don't feel like that's their authentic self. I don't know why, but that's probably is some, like, it's just like I relate to people who are hated a little more than people who are always loved. Yeah. How is it possible for someone to be nice all the time? Is it?
It is if you're
No
a
matter
doormat,
what.
because I spent some years being that, but as you know, it led down a dark path of me being trampled on, to the point where like my mental health was in serious jeopardy because of that. And now I'm working to be more assertive. So I think that's the thing, like, it's, if you're very passive because you've never had like the teaching to like speak up for yourself, you just are taught to be a good listener.
I also don't speak up for myself. Like, I don't really know how. I do speak up for other people who are underrepresented, or but I cannot speak up for myself. Like, I cannot. I realize that something bad's happening for me, but I either get too emotional and like
shut down and blather.
Yeah. And say random shit, and then regret why did I say all that, or I just take myself out of the situation, so I never have to be in that situation again. So
yeah, I think so. The difference between me and you in that regard is that I don't even see, like, I don't even see that something bad is happening to me. Like, I completely blind to it. Like, and then you see it and you don't know what to do about it. Right? So I think both of us and everyone could use a lesson in assertiveness. I've taken extensive sessions or classes, literal classes. It was supposed to be like therapy sessions type thing, but it was classes on one of the biggest things that stands out to me is it was on assertiveness, and compromise, positive reinforcements, positive self-talk. It was on like basically like what psychology student would learn is the good way to be. And it was basically like indoctrinating us with being healthy people, right? So I learned a lot about being assertive, but it's such a like uphill battle to fight that that for you it would be the urge to shut down. For me, it's the battle to even open my eyes enough to see that I'm being trampled on. But yeah, everyone could use a lesson in assertiveness. It's a very important thing to have.
like in shows or TV characters or whatever. Um, so what really stands out to me in so as you know, I watch a lot of Korean drama, and I watch a lot of Indian movies and drama, and I also watch a lot of English movies and drama. So out of all those, what really like stands out to me and why I like Korean drama more is in most cases there is like a character development. It's not like a lead character is always the nice person, which is the opposite in Indian stuff.
In
Indian
like, this
things
person's
like
the hero, this
yes,
person's the villain.
yeah. So there's like a literal every. So it's like decided this is the hero,
Yeah.
and this is their lead actress or whatever, and they are shown to be like the nicest people in the world or the most they have the best skill and like the most famous or like everyone likes them, kind of like that kind of showing. And so that really stands out to me in Korean drama is like I can relate to it. They're not always the most skillful, nor like it shows that you can learn, and nor are they the best people.
That's really nice because the other, like the English shows, or well, American what's the word?
Yeah.
Literature, film, content, I guess you could say. American fiction content. What I always learned about when you're creating it is character development means developing the audience's understanding of the character. And also, yes, they're supposed to grow, but I think it's more like you show the character throughout the thing so that you get to know them. But it's not so much focused on
the development
them
of
developing as a person throughout.
One
it's like a person is how they are, and that's just how they are.
One show that really made an imprint in my brain is like it's a show called Dream High, and the lead actress, she's really good at singing, but she at the starting of the show she was like really prideful, and she used to treat everyone like shit, thinking that she is like the thing, and she doesn't get into the school she wants to get into, and like mid show she realized she talks about a story, and she has a friend. Everyone used to call her slipper, because she's always like following her and doing exactly what she's doing, and like by the mid of the show, like she realizes that she is the not the main character, but she can change it towards the end. That's like she can develop as a better person and learn the things instead of retrograding. So I really love that kind of portrayal.
It's super important. Our that type of media, entertainment media, really is one of, as I said at the beginning of this talk, that it's one of the few things, especially in this society, that does infiltrate the nuclear family unit and their influence. So like having something you can look up to and see, oh, okay, so I can grow out of this. I can grow as a person. That's important and powerful.
Yeah, and turn a different chapter in your life.
Hey everybody, this is just a quick intermission to ask you that if you're enjoying this episode, if you're getting any value from it, if you could smash that like button, it really helps out the podcast, it helps the channel as a whole, and we would really appreciate it. All right, now back to the action. So, is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of heroes not being perfect? Like you want to switch it up into a different...
Yeah, there's a lot. Like, I guess this topic was inspired by me watching this. So there's a lot of like famous figures who are
anti-heroes. Yeah. So we were thinking about calling this the topic of this episode was anti-hero. So we were trying to figure out
those like that kind of people. It's basically like if a person is so mean, like they literally have so much power, like a country cannot do anything about that person, or like a legal system cannot do anything about that person because they're so powerful, and can just hire as many lawyers as they want and win anything.
There's a lot
using the loopholes and stuff, but still doing bad things using their power. If there should be anti-hero kind of a person who like literally breaks all the laws but does it for good.
Yeah. You were talking about Robin Hood, which I've never... I don't remember if I've ever seen.
Okay, the only... Like, I don't really know the full story, but it's basically like he was stealing money from rich people and giving it to poor people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember learning about that story. But...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also, like, people who only want fame, and are like Great Gatsby.
I don't remember the
idea
of that story.
Yeah, I don't really know the full thing about that story, but I know that he used to throw really extravagant parties, but then had a bad ending to his life. But don't quote me on it. But I've like watched like there are like some celebrities who are compared to Great Gatsby because they throw extravagant parties and then they had bad ending.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the anti-hero is basically someone. It's different than what we thought of. Well, it's just a different. It's another form of the growing up with that influence, and you have to at some point realize, okay, well,
there's nothing you can do no matter how nice you are.
Yeah, if you want to make a difference, you might have to not follow all the rules. Well, not a villain, but like
I mean, basically villain
tendencies, I guess.
Yeah, basically a villain for bad people, like people who are doing really bad things, like killing people or using their money to whatever bad things they can do. I don't really want to mention all of them.
Basically, to get into those circles, you have to be like, you can't get into a circle to change it if you're not part of that circle, right? So kind of like I don't know, becoming a killer to meet with the killers at their table or something. Right? It's a tough topic. It's
there is also like a fine line they can probably cross.
Fine line,
and end up making really bad choices. But it's like if the society cannot, like, it's like a lot of people really feel that they are not represented by the society, or like they're let down. Like literally I feel like every person feels that. I feel that a lot, but at some point you have to realize it's easier when you're not involved in those circles to feel like whatever you happens to you is based on what you do. But if you're involved in those circles, you can always be taken advantage of, and there is nothing you can do to get away from that situation. I really hate the term where it's your fate, that's why you are experiencing all the bad things, but I don't believe it. I feel like people shouldn't turn a blind eye to people's misfortune, throwing the blame on fate.
Oh, you're saying like the victims are oftentimes by other people justified in their victimhood, like they should be going through, there's nothing I can do to get in the way of it, that's just what they are going to go through either way. I feel like hurting all those people sometimes. There's a lot of victim blaming and a lot of different circumstances. That's one of them. That's one way to go about it. Like you said, it's a really fine line getting involved in that though. Getting into a circle where they're doing things that are oftentimes illegal or just wrong, so that you can stop them from doing it. And I actually have a lot of experience with that very circumstance. My final conclusion, which kind of led me away from that, at least in the way I was involved with it, was that I discovered I realized that if I were to do the things that I was prepared and planning to do, I would easily not be able to. I couldn't solve it anymore by doing those things than I could by not doing those things, and I would only be able to solve it once or twice by doing those things before the system with its laws comes in and takes me away to jail. And there's nothing you can do from jail. Nothing major you can do for good from jail.
If only life is like a TV show. I also feel like karma only exists, like real life things like law and enforcement and all those things only exist for people who are like, it's rarely a big powerful man gets the punishment they deserve for the same things. Like
it's usually the poor people who don't have resources to.
The biggest example is how like theft is such a huge crime. But wage theft is not.
And theft from the rich. In business.
Is not a crime, so I feel like karma is also is kind of like that, because I feel like when I do something that's bad, I'm thinking about it too. I'm like, oh my god, I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. I feel like that's what makes me get caught right away. I feel like people who don't think about it at all don't get their karma.
I've learned that police, the first thing they look for when they're scanning on patrol, they're looking for sketchy people, like people that look like they are out of place, like they feel out of place. You're looking for someone to feel out of place. So it is that like if you feel it, it's really, I mean, but as it comes down to, if it comes down to what I was just talking about, where that like you can do the couple bad things, but then you get caught anyways. Even if you believe in it, if you get caught, you are taken away and you can't solve the situation any further. That's probably why you have that karmic conscience that is like, if you do this, you're gonna feel sketchy, you're gonna get caught, so just don't do it, right? Like, I mean, it's a hard thing to fight.
I would love for a person who has, like, who doesn't feel sketchy at all, and then
one of the really bad people.
Yeah, and then use it for like good for the people, like to like it's really like not. I don't really care if you're doing good for the people or not, as long as you're not doing bad stuff for the people.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to.
Like just
good only needs to come if there's bad. If it was middle, everyone would just be living fine.
Yeah.
But since there is the bad stuff, that's the only reason we need the extra good to combat that. So like, it's unnatural to have to be a hero. Like that shouldn't be the potential. There shouldn't be the heroic need.
Yeah.
Right.
So another thing about, so there is a lot of like anti-heroes in Hinduism. So a lot of, but what I don't really like about all those anti-heroes or the gods is that they're portrayed as like they can never do anything wrong.
Oh.
They're always the like people who go by the right, and you should trust that or believe that they're right or whatever. Like you read about them, but it's always like no matter what bad things they do, even if it is bad, there is an excuse for it. I feel like
I noticed that too.
I would rather look up to people who have learned through living and actually made an effort to become better than someone who has been like always better, good. I don't know.
No, like the Korean hero.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Korean drama, the hero or the main character who developed is a lot more real life than a god who anything they did was because this and this and this and this and this was the reason that they did this random thing that might have been bad, might have been good. And there's a lot of excuse making for their rise to godhood.
Although I don't know if we should talk about it, but it's similar in every religion though. Like it's like gods are like the eternal beings who they're not humans. Basically.
Yeah, it's like that in pretty much that's what religion is. You have a impossible being and then a bunch of excuses for how that is possible actually, only if you're that being. That's religion.
It's a lot in Indian movies too. Like I feel the lead characters are written in such a way that they can never be wrong. They can never do wrong, and I do not like how character is talked about in a character related to a girl is talked about in a different way than a character related to a guy. And I do not like that. It doesn't matter how many boyfriends you have, or it doesn't matter who what you're doing, as long as you're not hurting someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really do not like that kind of talk related to characters, but whatever. So, are heroes really always good?
Heroes always good. I mean,
if
I
they're
think
gods,
real,
sure.
yeah, exactly. Real heroes, probably not. You know, they're people. Everyone, nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect. Not since we're talking about gods and we're being blasphemous, as some might portray. Nobody's perfect. Even Jesus is not perfect. I'm not even. I'm not Christian, so it's hard to say that and say that I'm not.
Okay, let's take gods out of the equation. Let's talk about humans.
Talk about humans. Real people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if nobody's perfect, and I think heroism isn't a character; it's a way of being, and to be heroic means that you're doing heroic things. That doesn't mean you are a hero and you're always gonna be a hero from that point, never gonna slip up, never gonna make a mistake.
Yeah, the whole like happily ever after is
that doesn't happen either.
Bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why kids get taught that.
Yeah. It's just it was a cop out for ending a story.
Yeah.
Like the early writers were like, I don't know what else to say. I can't keep writing happily ever after. Book's done, and they're happy. Like,
as if finding your one person is is like happily ever after. You still have to figure out a lot of stuff. There's like a lot of responsibilities in life. Happily ever after, and then you die in an accident the next day.
Right. Yeah.
Or like, I guess given the situation, heroes are mere humans.
Heroes are what?
Mere humans. Obviously they can be perfect in stories, but not in real life.
Yeah, I think their anecdotes are perfect. Like, it's like
things
social
you know
media.
About it.
It's like
things you know about them.
Putting the good things on display.
Yeah.
The things we hear about are their triumphs. We don't hear about their downfall after the in between their triumphs.
Yeah, and it's really, really like, even when people are like really successful and doing a lot, I don't know, success is a really weird term, but it's a topic for another day.
Every hero is an anti-hero.
Yeah. I think if you are a real hero, which basically means you are a real person who is a good person.
Is doing good things at that time.
That means you're basically probably having to fight injustices happening in the world. And you probably can fight injustices happening in the world in some part of your life, and probably need to be taken care of another part of your life. It's like you can be living double lives at the same time too. Yeah.
Here's something. If you
like a different life outside, different life at home, or whatever.
So I don't know if this is true. I just had this thought. Might be true. If you know about something, like if you know a way of being that's out there, it's because you've been a part of it in some way. So, like, if to understand anything, you have to have heard about it or seen it. We don't just, that's why babies don't know much and they're so innocent, because we're not born knowing, okay, when I grow up, I'm gonna be this position in this government because this has to be solved. Like, they learn that.
I'm still figuring out.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, like, so I think for a hero to be a hero, they have to have been a part of it on the negative side. So, which leads me to think that, like, you can't, there's enough bad things that have happened in the world. Everything bad that could possibly happen, almost, has happened at least at some scale. Everything bad that could happen has happened at some scale. So the people who were involved with the bad thing happening are the people who have to solve it at the greater scale. You can't solve something you don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Luckily, it's already happened. Some people have been involved. Now it's just up to getting. It's now we have to make them understand that they need to go solve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Totally.
Seems to make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lawyers seem to be the people who are anti-heroes, like human justice lawyers. But
human justice lawyers. Yeah, I know. I've seen some shows like with lawyers, you. Like they.
I know, but they're just made up stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if in real life they are really like that, or if they're just regular people that go to law school and then.
There are probably, but they're also probably struggling to make ends meet because they can't really make that much money. But or they're probably doing some bad stuff for the greater good, but then getting caught up in it, and never being able to get to the greater good part. Who knows?
Here's one. Oh, a bunch of lightning outside. Oh no, that's our TV turning on and the reflection out there. I was like, whoa, a bunch of lightning. Many soldiers, most soldiers I would like to think, but at least many of them, enlist and join the military to do what they think is good, to protect people from an enemy. So I guess that's like the anti-hero idea.
Yeah.
They know they're going to go do things that they wouldn't want to do if they didn't have to, but they go to do it because they feel like they have to.
Yeah. So the conclusion is no, heroes are not perfect.
Heroes are not perfect. Right.
Yeah, you can be your own hero.
Yeah.
So just work towards being nice every single day. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and build yourself
and don't beat yourself up over small things.
Yeah.
You can always be a better person next time.
Self-improvement. Slow, steady growth.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It can all go down the drain too. But be prepared.
I feel though the habit that you've built is there to hold you up. Like even if everything goes down the drain, you'll be able to latch onto that when you're ready to climb back up. Thank you so much for joining us for our evening tea, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.